I want to welcome you guys to Our Bop. This is Riddick's Book of Philosophy. My name's Philip Riddick, and this is where I talk about what I want to talk about the way I want to talk about it. If you enjoy this podcast, tell your friends, family, and loved ones to come in and enjoy my whimsical way of saying things, doing things, and thinking about things. All right. Welcome to Our Bop. My name's Phil. I'm the hostess with the mostest. You know what? And we do things the way we do things around here. And you know what, folks? You are not mistaken. This is not Our Bop. This is the Barbecue Talk Show podcast. I'm bringing in Ryan.
Hey! Look, man, thank you so much for helping us out, mate. We are indebted to you forever. Thank you very much for your help. I'm so glad you come along.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm your international co-host.
You are indeed, and co-producer as well now. So
Thank you, sir.
Totally international RBOC today.
Yeah, we've expanded. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Barbecue Talk Show. My name's Phil.
And my name's Ryan. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget this week to go check out the Barbecue Talk Show website, www.barbecuetalks.com. We have
wrong button.
we still have some fantastic discounts on the meter, which is 15% off worldwide, and so you guys in the States can use it. And also we have 10% off on the Rusty Barbecue Company products as well, so go check them out on the website, use the code, and you can save yourself a little bit of money.
That's right. Y'all put your hands together for saving money. So, Ryan, we have a guest, man. Who do we got?
Wow, this week we've got the lovely Susan Stoneman.
Susan Stoneman.
She is absolutely fantastic. Her Instagram is amazing. If you go check her social media out, there'll be links thrown in hopefully soon, and you'll be able to see all of the beautiful stuff Sue produces. She's got a up-and-coming YouTube channel as well, so go check her out on that. We're going to get talking about it. So next thing to do is pull her up and start a conversation.
That's right. Sue, how are you? Welcome. Y'all put your hands together for Sue. How are you, young lady? And thanks for gracing our podcast.
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm all good, thank you.
Nice.
That's really, really cool. So, as I said, we've spoken before off air. I really appreciate you coming on, Sue. It's totally lovely to see you here. We've been friends on Facebook, and I've seen all your cooks for years. And it's finally good to have something to have you on where we can put together and showcase all of the good stuff you do. You know, so let's get rolling into this interview. So, how long have you actually been cooking over fire, wood, and flames? So, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you actually got to this point where we are now.
Okay, so about 7 years ago, I went on a build and bake day at River Cottage, which is in Dorset, so about an hour's drive away from me, and learnt how to sort of build your own pizza oven. So we went to the lake and dug the clay and came back to the farmhouse and built a pizza oven, and then we learned how to make the bread and cooked pizzas in their own pizza oven. Mm-hmm. And I came home with the book of instructions on how to build one, and I did this this day with my son. It was through an auction, you know, one of these parents association things at the school, and it just so happened that Hugh Fernie Whittingstall's son went to the same school as my son's, and so I bid for this thing because I thought, yes, I'm going to do that. So we came away from that day saying, oh, gosh, we got to build a pizza oven in the garden. So it actually took 2 years then later, because my husband isn't very good at DIY, and a builder happened to move in opposite,
I
So
was going to say that must have been a big pizza oven if it took 2 years.
So I let him settle in for a week, and I went over and knocked on his door, and I said, "Oh, I'm Sue. I want to build a pizza oven. I really need a plinth built in my garden. Can you do that?" So a few weeks later, he came over and built me the plinth that I needed. And then I ordered in the sand and the clay and the wood chips. And it took me 3 weeks on my own to actually build my pizza oven. And it was just before and in time for my big birthday.
Yeah.
So I had a pizza and Prosecco party. And then I got into barbecuing through contacts. I was asked to make pizzas at our Devon County show, bearing in mind I'd only just built my pizza oven. Went and cooked pizzas in a Clementi, an Italian pizza oven at the Devon County show, and I cooked some other dishes as well.
Right.
And then a few weeks later, the same people contacted me and said, "You want to come and work for us?" So I then went to work at Big Fire, where I still am. And so at Big Fire, we sell the Cat-Eye fire pits. We did sell the Kamado Joes and the Thuros. And it was like, I was like a kid in a sweet shop.
Oh,
I know.
Came home thinking, I want one of those. I'd seen the big green eggs before, but I hadn't seen the Kamado Joes. And the Kamado Joes then, this is going back 5 years, were half the price of the big green eggs.
Right.
I want one of those. So I sort of saved up like you do, and I bought one and fell in love with it. And then just got into barbecuing that way.
Okay, now, have you cooked on both the Kamado Joe and the Big Green Egg?
Never cooked on a big green egg.
Because I was going to ask you which one you liked better. But we're going to move on to the next question. Your first memory of barbecue cooking or cooking over flames? What's your first memory of getting that burn for the burn?
The burn for me, my dad was the barbecue king.
Okay.
He would barbecue anytime, and he even made his barbecue in the garden, and we used to go on holiday to France every year, and he would take his own barbecue, and that was just a good memory. But and unfortunately, he's not here anymore.
Oh, rest in peace.
But his eyebrows would have raised knowing how much I've spent on barbecue products and things.
Question, if I may. Now, I learned barbecue by doing exactly what my father didn't do, because my dad sucked. Now, was your father a very good barbecuer? I mean, did he understand the difference between grilling, smoking, and barbecuing, or did he? Like I said, my dad was terrible.
He was a griller.
Okay.
But he would make his own sort of rubs, and it would be the chicken thighs and the steaks and that, but it was all good,
Nice. All right. Right. Next question, man.
So you've basically sort of touched on the Kamado Joe, and all of that sort of stuff. We're gonna get back to that in a minute. But firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on becoming a Angus & Oink ambassador, for like a brand ambassador.
Yes,
well
indeed.
Well, thank you.
That's a super cool thing to get under your belt. How did that come about? Did they just hit you up, or did you have to chase them?
Well, not at all. No, I've known Scott for 4 years now. I met him on a trip up to Scotland 4 years ago. I went to meet up with Simon Richardson, who is well known on Country Wood Smoke, and Kelly Bramwell, creator of famous Kelly Bab.
Yeah.
So met up with them, and Scott was there as well.
Yeah.
And introduced to him and got some rubs there, and came home and bought some, and that's when he was doing the beers and the sausages as well. So order some of those, and he's just grown, and I love his ethos and the products, and I've bought loads and love all his rubs, and what's not to like.
Yeah.
Really nice stuff. It's good quality product. They certainly bang out.
He's grown.
Really.
He's gone global. He works hard, and he's got a good range. And I don't need to make my own rubs. So I'm happy to just dive in the cupboard and
pull out one and put whatever one tickles your fancy of an evening.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. Look, best rub ever. Salt and pepper. That's all I'm saying.
So, now your Instagram, like, I love all of the pictures on your Instagram, but what intrigues me the most is all of your baking and all of that stuff you do. How you turn out some really lovely looking cakes and puddings, and give us a talk through on how you. Like, I can't bake anything. I'll be totally honest. I've tried. I can make a packet of brownie mix. That's about as good as I get.
Look, my experience of baking, which I don't do much, it's so precise. It's like science. And because if you don't get those proportions correctly, your rising ain't rising. So, kind of get into that, Sue. How did you? Come on, I'm amazed.
Well, I'm more known as a home cook. And so after doing a lot of home cooking, and you might be talking about that later, my Southwest Home Cook of the Year title. When I fell into the barbecuing line of things, and when I had my Kamado Joe, and of course that's an outdoor oven, I thought, hang on a minute, what I can cook in my kitchen, I can actually cook in my Kamado Joe.
Yeah.
So I am more known as the barbecue queen or baker, and I will cook anything from cakes and bread and desserts, and I'll even cook a pavlova in my Kamado Joe just because you can.
What amazes me is, although baking is complicated enough, you also have to manage your temperatures in the Kamado Joe, and you still pull it off. That's what's so amazing to me.
But you can, it's just like riding a bike. You've got to get on it and get pedaling. And then once you know how to control those temperatures, you can cook anything.
There you go. There you go.
It might look simple, but, you've got to do a bit of thinking and a bit of planning.
Yeah.
So my main tip is, when you are baking, the dome temperature is always 20 degrees or so lower than your grill temperature.
Right.
So if you're following a recipe, and I always say a recipe is a guide. So when you're cooking in your Kamado Joe, you need to reduce that temperature by 20 degrees. And also, I'll upturn a baking tin on the top of my grill to give a bit more height, because even though you're cooking indirect, the heat's coming from underneath.
Yes.
You don't want a burnt bottom.
Right.
You can have soggy bottoms when you're cooking inside, but you don't want a burnt bottom when you're cooking in the Kamado Joe.
I'm sorry. Just a dirty old man. You say burnt bottoms and soggy bottoms. It was just funny to me.
But I found out myself the first time I cooked a loaf of bread, it had a really burnt bottom. And I thought, oh my goodness me, can't have that.
No, definitely.
Well, how can I get over that?
Can't have a burnt bottom.
So I upturn an old baking tin underneath it, put that on the grill, and then I'll put my cake tin or bread thing or whatever I'm cooking on top of that, and it just gives you a bit more height and stops that heat coming from underneath and burning the bottom.
Nice.
It's a really good workaround, to be honest, and you're banging out decent product, and just trial and error, I suppose, is the best way to.
Yeah, you got to learn. You got to Bernie Mac said, you got to learn. Now, let's talk about TV. How did you get on the James Martin show?
Well, I was a Bake Off reject, really. I did apply for Bake Off.
Yes.
And I had the phone call and I had the half-hour interview on the telephone, but then I didn't get to the next stage.
Oh.
And then a few months later, through a contact of mine, a friend of mine, Julie Harvey, she messaged me. I hadn't been long on Twitter, and I had the message to say, oh, you know, have you heard about this program that's coming up? You want to apply for this? And I thought, yeah. So I applied for that because I thought, we've got nothing to lose, you know.
Right.
So
Absolutely not.
then I had a phone call, just like the Bake Off,
Mm.
and I thought, yeah, and then they said, oh, okay, that's that round, and then you'll have another phone call in a few days. But if you don't get a phone call, then you know you haven't got anywhere. Anyway, 2 days later, had another phone call, and it was like, oh. And you know, had to answer more questions, you know, how to cook certain things, do this and do that.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, here we go again. And then they said, okay, need to go through another stage now, and you'll get another phone call in a few days. And I thought, oh well. Anyway, next day I had a phone call, and then I had to go up to a hotel in Bristol, and I had to cook a dish.
Okay.
So I had to take up all the ingredients, and so I was going to cook, and I did cook a mango and passion fruit roulade. So that, to me, that is my dish. That is my favorite thing I want to cook.
That sounds like my favorite thing to want to eat. Say it. Just say it again. Mango
and passion fruit roulade.
Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. That
So
sounds amazing.
I baked the pavlova bit the morning before I went to Bristol.
Right.
And of course, I couldn't tell anybody what I was doing because you already had to say, you signed to secrecy.
Okay.
But I took a friend up with me, and so that morning I had to bake the meringue bit, you know, the pavlova thing.
Yeah.
And I chopped everything up, and I took the cream, and I took my electric mixer, and we got to the hotel, and I had to go in, you know, and I obviously produced this dish.
Yes.
And the producer of the show, he was the producer of MasterChef, the program. It was Shine TV.
Okay.
And he just gobbled it all up. So I thought, well, he must have liked that.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like 2 days later, I had a phone call to say I was going up to London. I was selected to be on the show.
Wow.
All I needed to take was an apron, and they sorted out my travel and my hotel accommodation. And at that time, I didn't really know anything about the show other than that it was about sort of making a dish out of what you've got in the fridge, you know. So, and the program was called The Box. And so went to London. And I told my mum I was going to London, but I didn't tell her why.
Okay.
Because I knew if I told her, the whole world would know.
Right.
And so went to London. I sort of met in a cafe, and then you're taken to the production studio because it was all sort of secret. And then even then, I didn't know who the host of the show was.
Wow.
And so there were 3 contestants, and so we were shown into this little room, and there was a girl in there ironing someone's shirt. It was like a polo shirt, and I'm thinking, who wears polo shirts? And anyway, we had the health and safety talk, and then she said, "Oh, James will be here in a minute." I thought, James who? It was James Martin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, James Martin. So he was the host of the show, and he had a celebrity on his show. So the format was 3 contestants, James Martin as the host,
Right.
So the celebrity guest brought in his box of ingredients.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it was a mystery box. So obviously you didn't know what was in it. And
Right.
on my show, it was Ainsley Harriott.
Oh, cool.
So Ainsley Harriott comes on with his box of ingredients, and you had 50 minutes to make a dish out of the box of ingredients. Now,
Okay.
I can't quite remember, but in my box was a duck breast,
Okay.
some sorrel, a sweet potato, some beetroot.
Mm.
I'd have liked a dessert thing, but there was just like 8 little bars of chocolate and like 6 raspberries. And as much as you had a store cupboard of ingredients, just like on MasterChef or
Yeah.
that, you didn't have time to see what was there.
Mm.
And
So you just had to grab it and go with it.
yes, so I thought I'll go duck breast, roasted duck breast with a bit of honey and that, and I made it look quite chefy. And then so three contestants, and then James and Ainsley came round and obviously tasted everybody's dish, and my dish was favourite. So
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So that was the first part of the show, and then so the second part,
Yeah.
I got to then choose the next mystery boxes for the next round, which were James's own boxes. So it was birds, pasta, and global.
Okay.
So I thought, oh no, pasta. Oh, how do I make my own pasta? And oh God, I can't remember how much what the ingredients are to make the pasta. So I thought, I'll give that to the young girl.
Right.
She won't know how to make pasta. So I said, oh, pasta to the lady.
Mm-hmm.
And birds, I thought, oh no, what happens if it's a feathered bird? That won't be good TV viewing if I've got to like do it myself. So
Exactly.
I'll give that to the bloke.
Yeah.
So I went global thinking, oh, it might be some exotic fruit and I'll make a nice pudding.
Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, the pasta in the box, the pasta had already been made by James. So
Okay.
I thought, the bird, they were just, I think, poussin or something,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Defeathered and ready, oven ready.
Okay.
And global was like a Mexican dish, and we've got this really nice Mexican restaurant in Exmouth where I live.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I sort of recreated a sort of fajita type guacamole thingy.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
That's nice. I'm
yeah.
just glad that the birds were already dead. I would love to see you on TV chopping the head off of a bird and pulling the guts out. That would have been amazing.
So you had 50 minutes to do that dish, and then James chose the dish of the day, and it was the blokey's dish. But everybody says I was robbed. Hey ho.
That's
what it is.
terrible.
But I've got the apron, they both signed it. I had the kiss,
There you go. Wait, for the apron, we got a question from the chat. The Rusty Barbecue Company team. What is your nemesis on the queue that you'd love to either tackle or master? What's something that's hard or difficult that you want to master on a barbecue?
Master. Well, I thought the pavlova, even cooking a pavlova on the queue was tricky.
Okay.
Was
there anything that's eluded you? Anything that's been, for lack of a better phrase from America, anything been kicking your butt that you want to defeat?
I haven't done the brisket. I've done a brisket chili.
Okay.
I haven't done the brisket.
Right.
And I haven't done burnt ends.
See, now briskets are tricky. Are tricky. I've done my fair share of briskets. They are tricky.
I think there's a lot of pressure on getting it right.
There is. I suppose it's a big, expensive cut of meat, and to be fair,
I haven't even done picanha yet.
See, now I've never done a picanha. I'd love
I want
to.
that. That's on my to-do list. That is.
So brisket, picanha. What's okay? This isn't even a question, but now it comes up. What's your to-do list?
My to-do list.
Yeah, you said brisket, picanha. What's your to-do list on the queue?
My to-do list. I don't know. I want to do some more desserts like creme brulee, and I really want to show people that it's not just about the meat.
Yeah,
Because you can actually do your desserts and at the same time as you can do your meats.
yeah.
I just want to make it more accessible and, for the home cook, for the people who are cooking inside at the moment. And now we've got to spend more time in your gardens.
I agree.
I feel like I want to make it more accessible. I want to make barbecue, exciting and fun.
Yeah.
Ryan, if I may ask this one.
Go.
What's your experience with pellet smokers?
I don't have any experience with pellet smokers. I'm a charcoal gal.
I understand that. The reason I ask is a pellet smoker is so much closer to an oven. You set the temperature and it does it by itself. It's electronic, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about monitor temperatures. So just something to throw out there. It would make it a lot easier if you wanted to show people how easy it is to do something outside.
Yeah.
Pellet smoker might be the way to go.
Well, I'm always up for a challenge,
There you go.
Definitely. Well, to be fair, the stuff you're pulling off of the Joe, it may as well be a pellet smoker. It's the control you have over it and the dishes you turn out are amazing.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm amazed at the control you have over temperature so that you can bake. That just blows my mind because, if your temperatures aren't right, even barbecuing, not even baking, just barbecuing, it can go south. If your temperatures aren't right, you could ruin some meat, go to sleep or doze off, and your temperatures tank. You just killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I was going to say about the Pengrily Barbecue Festival.
Oh yeah.
Now, tell us all about it. Tell us how all of that come about and the story behind it, because obviously I've researched and the people listening, they don't know. So
no.
Tell everybody
Okay, so Pentilly Castle is just over the border in Cornwall, so just the other side of Plymouth. I'm Devon. And I didn't manage to go the first year because I was working, but the second year I sort of booked the day to go just to visit. And on the Friday night, a good friend of mine, Christian, who at the time made his own rubs. He was called Eat the Smoke, and he lived in Exmouth and tried his rubs, and they're great. And he put a little plea out on the Friday night to say he was a man down. Could anyone help him at the competition? Well, yeah, I'll do that. So we went down. We missed the Saturday, so we went down. He picked me up about 5:30 on the Sunday, and we drove down ready for the 7:30, roll call and talk.
Yeah.
And it was such a lovely day. Obviously, the first barbecue competition I'd ever been in.
Yeah.
And it was such a lovely atmosphere. And I think there were about 12 teams. And yeah, Marcus was there. He was doing a demo. Ben Forte was there doing a bit of filming, and Jackie Waite, also big on the barbecue community. She was one of the judges. And it was a really lovely day, and met so many lovely people.
Nice. And
my teammates were Steve Johnson and Mark Cole.
Okay.
And, that was the following year. Sorry. Right. So anyway, so when I was with Christian, it was just the whole experience, which was great. So then the following year, Steve and I have been friends for a while, and you know, when you're talking, it's like, oh, shall we do Pengrilly this year? And it was, oh, yes, we need someone else. And Mark lives in Exeter, so we formed the team. And Steve Johnson's Instagram name is It's in the Smoke, so that was our team name. And so we each did. There were 4 rounds. I think it was fish, chicken, lamb, and something else. But we didn't win. Oh, and a chili round. The chili round is always voted by the public.
Okay.
You had to make a pot enough to feed like 100 people, but it was like a tablespoon's worth.
Oh, wow.
So the chili round wasn't included in the overall scoring, and we scored really high in all our rounds, but we didn't win any particular round.
Oh, that's terrible.
But
that's a shame.
Our scores that we did get, we were the winners. We were the overall winners, and I tell you,
nice.
You could have knocked me off my chair with a feather.
Yeah.
But I say we scored high in all rounds. But
that's amazing. That's great.
It was one of those, oh my goodness me moments.
It's like a top gun high five.
I know.
It's like, whoa.
I know. Couple comments from the chat. Okay. Cider Talbot 2 says, pellets are boring if you love to play with fire. And that's true. And Barbecue Live UK says pellets take away the challenge. And that's also true. But the reason I brought it up is because there's a lot of people that don't have the skill or to wherewithal to manage the fire and all that stuff. And pellets do make it easier for those folks to be able to smoke some stuff too. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Yeah.
Each barbecue, whether it be a Weber, whether it be a Traeger, a Kamado Joe, everybody will find the one that suits what they want to cook.
Everyone deserves to enjoy the Q, no matter how good or bad you are, or how intricate or lack of skills you have. Everyone still deserves to enjoy it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally agree on that one. So, you're a UK barbecue champ as well, then, to add to your accolades. just throwing it out there, you know. And and talking of winning things, I would say we jump round to what we touched on earlier as the Southwest Cook of the Year. Twice champion.
Yeah, the only person to have won it 2 years running.
On the bounce as well, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So this is a competition that's open to all chefs, young and the category is for home cooks as well, and it's headed up by Michael Keynes, MBE, Michelin starred chef who has Limpstone Manor, which is on my doorstep. So he fronts up the competition, and obviously I entered the home cook category. I entered it in 2015. And I didn't win that year, but I listened to the feedback from the judges, and so entered again the following year. Oh, I'm going to nail it this year, and I did.
That's
nice.
And then entered the following year, just because they sort of said, "Are we going to enter again?" And I said, "Yeah." And,
I'm coming back. I'm coming back for you. Yeah.
And so doing that, it opened up a few doors, and I got into demoing at food and drink festivals, and got me out into the foodie scene. And I blog now for Dining Devon. So my teammates Chris and Lauren, we review local restaurants and hotels and cafes.
Yeah.
Obviously don't do the reviewing so much now because unfortunately a lot of them are closed.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of recipes on the blog, and I also write for a few magazines. So the UK Barbecue magazine I write for.
You're just all around
Taste Buds
celebrity.
magazine. I do have my fingers in lots of pies. Funny enough.
Look,
Literally.
something I was reluctant to say. I would never say I got my fingers in pies.
Yeah. So yeah, I do a lot of things, but it you know, I like doing it, and I don't know how I find time to do it all sometimes, but
Yes.
Well, that and holding down a full-time job as well, and writing a vlog and writing for magazines. It's got
I
to be
know.
like I struggle like putting this thing together with Matt, and like also YouTube and the rest of the stuff. It can be really quite exhausting sometimes if you take your eye off the ball, and you've got all of that stuff going on, juggling.
I know. I mean, she does
so
it so
many balls
easily.
in there. Yeah.
Just you know, just brushes it off. I do this. I'm like, I got to do another podcast. This is hard.
it's like, oh gosh, I haven't lit my barbecue for 3 days. I've got to cook something. I've got to... Or people think, where's Sue? She's not cooked for a while. I better cook something.
You're always posting. Yeah, there's always something going on your feed on Instagram, and it always looks fantastic.
Or if it's not my cooking, it's my daily exercise or something.
Sue, is cooking therapeutic to you? Is that is that one of those things where you're like, I feel so much better because I did it?
Definitely. I have to. It is my happy place. My little barbecue shelter. It's my happy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone listening, in this crazy world that we have, cook more. It's a happy place.
It is therapy.
How are you doing on drinks? So have you got send the text down yet?
I'm going to text the boys when I've drunk this. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like I'm trying to take it easy.
I'm trailblazing. I'm on my second one now. I'm like, oh.
That's awesome.
Right. So but let's get down to what sort of direction do you see the barbecue scene in the UK moving to in 2021? Obviously after the post-apocalyptic COVID crisis.
The zombie apocalypse is upon us.
We've got Brexit as well. So but it's getting big. It's going big, isn't it? We got obviously the KJ, there's some new grills coming out. Everyone's cooking outside because they've got to spend more time in the garden. You know, where I work at Big Fire, we sell the Cat-Eye fire pits. So, you know, you could cook over anything, but more so now where people are spending more time in the garden.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go big.
I have a question. Being in America, from America, and, you know, all the barbecue stuff that I've known is America. I don't know a lot of Americans knowing the big boom of barbecue in the UK. You know, so, you know, just like Ryan said, where do you see it moving in 2021 in the UK?
I just see it moving.
Huge?
Yeah. I think people will be cooking everything and anything outside.
I agree.
Like I'm doing.
I agree.
Yeah, some of the cooks you see over here are so creative now. Like, to me, I can see it more going more live fire, like the big sort of fire pit. That sort of cook seems to be very popular with the what they call the pancetta things that you rise up and down. That sort of Argentinian grill.
They take a lot of planning. Those sort of cooks take a lot of planning. So you know, if you're cooking in your backyard, I suppose it depends how much time you've got. But the really big cooks, you know, you got to prepare to do those. You know.
But now Ryan was talking about the Santa Maria grills and the Argentinian grill where they got the actual wood fire and you raise and lower the. See, now that is when it comes to me cooking, especially when I'm talking outdoor cooking, it's more about the technique and you know, there's a difference between a Ugly Drum smoker versus a Weber kettle versus a offset versus a Santa Maria. And what intrigues me is the cooking technique because they're all different. How do you feel about that, Sue?
Yeah, you know, each barbecue has their own merits and qualities. So depending what you're going to be cooking, you got to choose what thing you want to cook on or over.
Right.
So you could probably cook a pavlova on a open fire. I don't know. I've not tried that yet, but
you should.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Definitely should.
And I think anything's possible, but I say that the really big things will take a lot of planning.
Yes.
It'd be nice to get out and see some really big things being cooked, to be fair. Hopefully, if all of the barbecue festivals and competitions kick back up again. I certainly know some of the guys from Mike. We were having a private chat a couple of days ago about putting a little barbecue team together and heading out and doing some stuff, but it's whether we can get out and do some stuff, you know.
I don't think it's, you just got to hang fire on that. Yeah.
Cider Talbot 2 on the chat says Pavlova live on YouTube. I'd watch it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So challenges ahead of me.
You do a lot of live cooking on Facebook, don't you?
Yeah. So in the first lockdown, it was tough. Obviously, my son came home from university and had to shield because he's got cystic fibrosis. So I had to shield at home with him, but my husband was still working, so he had to move out. So the first 2 weeks my son was home, we had to avoid each other like the plague in the house. And I couldn't go shopping, I couldn't get any deliveries, and I was really just like thinking, oh my goodness me, and chatting with Marcus, Country Wood Smoke, like you do. He said, Sue, you want to go live on one of your cooks? And I didn't even want to cook at the time on my barbecues because my husband wasn't home. He couldn't get to eat the food. Yeah. And I thought, he's going to think, what are they eating tonight, So I sort of said to my son, I said, Marcus says I should go live with Mama Barbecue Cook. He said, yeah, Mum, do it. I'll film you. Do it. So we did. And so I used to do Country Wood Smoke on a Sunday evening at 7:00.
Yeah.
And then I was also quite active on the Kamado Joe UK group. So I went live on a Wednesday on the Kamado Joe site. So it gave me a purpose. So Sundays was Country Wood Smoke, Wednesday was Kamado Joe.
Right.
Yeah.
And we ate really well. And then I could get deliveries. And instead of making up dishes that I could, get out my freezer and my fridge, I was thinking, I'll order that and I'll order that and I can cook that. And and it got exciting and it was fun and we loved it. We had a ball. We had a blast. And and the one cook that got the most views was my curry that I cooked on my Kadai fire pit, and I think that got 26,000 views.
Nice.
And it was like, oh my goodness me. And it was just then I think my son said, oh Mum, we need to get you set up on a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So he did that for me, and then we just uploaded all my live cooks. Well, not all of them, a lot of them onto that. And the plan is to obviously then develop that and get myself a website and a blog and put my recipes on and
and grow from there.
In a way, and
that's great. Dutchy cooking in the chat says, love how Sue cooks in her slippers. Do you cook in your slippers?
The very first live cook I did, of course, like you do, I went out and I was wearing my slippers.
Nice.
And it stuck. So I'm known as having my slippers and my tipple, and I always had a tipple, like it'll be a glass of wine or a local beer or a gin and tonic. So I would have my barbecue, and everyone knows them as my barbecue slippers. I'm actually wearing them now.
You gotta be comfortable.
You got
You
your
gotta be.
barbecue
Can I
slippers
see
on,
them? Let me see them. Come on. Let me
Okay.
see the slippers pop 'em up. I was so hoping you were gonna kick your leg up, but that's okay.
That's one of them.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah. So I am known as the barbecue slippers lady.
There you go. There you go. Silent Tower 2 says, looking forward to see Sue on Saturday. Kitchen in the future. Nice. Looking forward to seeing you.
I'll have to ring James up and ask him to have me on his show.
Okay.
I think you should. I think you should get back. Try and have another go for the Bake Off. Personally, you know.
No, see, once you've been on telly, and I have applied for Bake Off since. Once you've been on telly once, nobody wants you. Whatever channel you're on, once you've been on telly.
Really, that's a shame.
No.
Well, I would think it's not. You're not a novelty anymore. Now you're established as a winner, and every she's gonna win again. They want some potential losers.
No, they know who they want on their show, and they want different people.
Yeah.
I suppose from what you said earlier, the selection process is pretty. They seem to knuckle down and get exactly what they want for the show just from the process you said. It sounds pretty
tough, to get on. But and to be honest, there's a lot of pressure. Even going up to London for those 2 days, it was 7 hours filming for just a half-hour show.
No, that's terrible.
But it was exciting. It was the best time, and if you did that, I actually enjoy what I do. Right. I wouldn't want to. It's a lot of pressure, these competitions. That's why Pentilly or Pengrilly is fun. I'm not sure if I want to do Bake Off now. It takes the fun out of what you like doing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get that. That must be, sort of bittersweet in a way. I suppose would probably be the easiest way. But
But never say never. I'm always up for a challenge.
Well, you got to get back when it all opens up again. You'll be back down on the competition, strutting your stuff. Will you be taking a tea when it opens up again? Will you, Sue?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, cool. That'd be nice.
That's wonderful.
Getting down there and laying down it, scooping up some more trophies and putting them on your KJ, bossing it.
Definitely, yeah. My junior travels with me. I take my junior with me.
It must for cooking on a ceramic you don't see many of them at competition cooks, to be honest. It's either a drum or sort of like more of a cabinet type smoker or cooker from what I've seen, but I've never really seen many KJs out and about.
No, I can't. Even at Pengrilly, I can't remember what everybody had. Yeah, they were the drum smokers and mainly because they're so heavy.
Moving a ceramic is a task.
Yeah, I mean, even the junior is, I think, 30 kilos. I can't quite lift it myself into my car, but it's heavy.
It's a beast of a thing to move around as well, and also so expensive. You don't want to be dropping one, that's for sure.
No,
there you go. Wait, here you go, Ryan. You don't want to be dropping one.
No way, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, as we're moving along a little bit, we're going to go into a quick fire question round now. I know you haven't seen these, so it should be quite a thing. So I'm going to take the lead, Phil. Yeah, we'll flip-flop it backwards and forwards.
Flip-flop it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So are you ready for the barbecue talk show?
I'm ready.
Hot fire questions. Here we go. So, hot and fast or low and slow?
Hot and fast.
Day or night cooks?
Hey?
Day or night?
Anytime.
Anytime. What nice?
Nice. Beer or spirits?
Spirits.
Lump or briquettes?
Lump.
Pork or beef?
Yeah, because briquettes are like got some nasty bits in. I've always.
I agree.
Anyway, yeah.
So pork or beef?
Beef.
Wet or dry? Rubs.
Dry.
Butcher paper or foil?
Foil, but I'm virgin on the butcher paper if I can have that sort of an answer.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna add on to this because part of the question. Or just let it ride. Don't wrap it all.
I'll wrap occasionally.
Nice. Okay, I got you. She kicked that in the butt.
Because I think there is no set rule. There is no correct way.
Mm-hmm.
You will do what you want to do and what suits your cook.
And I agree. There's no right way or wrong way to do barbecue because you have different meats, you have different cookers, and you have different techniques. As long as you end up with something delicious, you did it right. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. You sort of like feel, when you've been doing it a while, you kind of feel your way around a cook anyway. You can judge what it needs when it needs it, and kind of just by looking at it and even the smell or just giving it a prod, you kind of know what needs to be done.
I mean, even I when I first started out, I didn't have a thermopen. That's the best. If anybody's starting out, that's the best gadget you can have.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And it's not about time; it's temperature. You learn that, and it's the size of your meat and the heat of your barbecue. All those parameters.
Well, I'll say a thermopen, any type of internal, if you can monitor your internal temperature. If you don't do that and you're serving people, that's the difference between a good meal and salmonella. You listen.
Yeah.
If you don't cook your food to a certain temperature, you're risking someone throwing up a uterus. I mean, seriously, it's terrible.
Yeah, and barbecuing. If you're looking, it ain't cooking.
Yeah,
that's true.
And it's ready when it's cooked.
It's cooked, right?
Have another drink.
It's done. It's done when it's done. And that's true.
This was just on the screen from Hobo Nickel Barbecue Test Laboratory. He said, "I like this lady's answers. You're killing it, Sue. You're killing it. Yeah." And I want to say, hey, Leprechaun TV, shameless plug. How you doing, man? I just want to holler at you.
Thanks everybody for joining in the chat. It's always good to have you in here.
Yes,
guys.
everybody.
It's always nice. We've been a bit sort of focused, but sorry. Hey, I've been online YouTube at the site. Who's this? Who is that? Oh, been online.
I've got my glasses on.
How is everybody? Unfortunately, we can't see who's on Facebook. You've got to go through to the what is it? What am I going to say? I can't even. I've just blanked out. Streaming. You've got to register with StreamYard basically, so we can see who it is on Facebook to tell us.
Exactly. So right now we're seeing Facebook user. We don't see your name, unfortunately. We do see your comment.
So if you just want to register with StreamYard, we'd be able to see who you are, and maybe. Well, thanks for commenting, but we don't know who you are, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, next question. Wait, no, you, Ryan. What we got?
So what would you say is your biggest blooper or maybe your biggest mistake you've ever made cooking?
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Okay. So during my live cooks, I did a Côte de Boeuf. Yeah, I thought it had to be cooking related. And it was reverse sear. So I cooked it indirect and then I wrapped it, and then I think I did a dessert at the same time, and then of course I put the bit of beef back on, got the heat back up, and put it on the grills and close the lid. And with the Kamado Joe's, when you're using a high heat, you need to burp it, and a lot of people don't know that. just need to raise the lid up and down fairly slowly to release that heat.
Yeah.
And I did that, but obviously not enough. So then when I opened the lid, whoosh, remember the film Backdraft?
Oh yeah.
And actually, my son was filming me, and we sort of both looked at each other, and it's like, oh my god, and flames going everywhere. And I very calmly carried on.
Yes.
And then when we finished, it's like, oh,
what the boop boop? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And so every time now I see a coat de boeuf or a big bit of meat, so I just have visions of this backdraft of flames, and I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was like, whoa.
I know.
The adrenaline spike kicks in, and you just like,
but to be able to carry on, act like you didn't get the life sucked out of you is amazing.
So that was probably my scariest moment, if
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I had a similar moment with just on a gas grill. I was sort of experimenting, making up a hot plate for my for my Weber Spirit. And I thought, like you can't get like Blackstone cookers or anything over it, so I just got like a bit of mild steel, cut it to shape, was quite thick. So I thought,
like a plancher, making a plancher sort of thing.
Yeah, basically, but on a gas grill. Yeah. So I warmed it up, put the plate on. I thought, oh yeah, that looks all right. Went back into the kitchen thinking, oh, that'd be solid. Looked out the window, and there was sort of like smoke billowing a little bit, and I thought, that's a bit odd for a gas barbecue. But because it was like there was a fair, like I didn't clean it, being a bloke, and it was a gas barbecue.
Right.
Went out there, it was black smoke billowing under my barbecue shirt. I was thinking, oh my god! Opened it up, and it was like, so like, put the lid down, turn the gas off, and basically run away.
I'll tell you, my worst. I was just doing 2 simple beer can chickens. But my fatal flaw is I didn't put a pan underneath the chickens. So I got grease dripping, and that caught on fire. And I did a YouTube video, and I even explained what happened. That grease caught on fire. I was like, sweet Jesus. So, everything isn't perfect. You just got to be able to figure it out and make it work. But
I think we've all done that. We've all had a little accident, maybe.
Yes.
Singed our eyebrows, or lost some hair. But
I've done it. We got a question about albums, Ryan.
Oh yeah. So the last question that I ask everybody. So Sue, what are your top 3 favorite albums, songs, or artists, whatever way you want to take it?
Okay, so I had to have a bit of a Scottish theme here, because the reason why we went to Scotland was to see Runrig, which is a Scottish folk band. Okay. And we'd been to see them at Skerne Palace many years ago, and we loved it up there. And we went to Scotland again, and then we went to the Isle of Skye, and that's when we went to see Scott and Simon. And so Runrig is my favorite band. Okay. And we went to see them at Stirling Castle for their final concert 2 or 3 years ago, and that was the most amazing concert ever. So their last album was called The Story. Okay. And so and my barbecue buddy Rob's Barbecue, who I did a live cook with just for Christmas, he does a lot of Scottish music on his TikToks and that. So it had to be something Scottish. Right. Yeah. And I'll listen to that if I'm cooking. Oh, so that's one of them. like a bit of Lionel Richie,
Oh, shucks.
dancing on the ceiling and all that.
Mhm.
Right.
Uh,
That surprised me. I wasn't expecting that.
and I like a bit of Simon Webb.
Okay.
Okay.
Sanctuary, I think, was
Yeah.
his last album. But,
That's
you know,
really cool.
I listen to the radio normally when I'm in the kitchen cooking. Obviously, when I'm in my barbecue area, I
Right.
haven't any music out there.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I did think about that question, and those are my answers.
That's a lovely set of answers. That's the great thing about that question. I know it's totally barbecue related, but it always, one, you rarely get the same set of answers, and two, it just makes people think about, one, music can make people think of, well, obviously it involves different memories, different
Yeah.
experiences, and it just makes things sort of just a bit
It's-
different, really.
It's a personal question. It makes people know you based on your
I could say Cliff
likes of
Richard
music.
or you know, I don't know. I like everything really, but
Yeah. Bit of Sir Cliff, eh?
yeah, I've met him.
Have you really?
Well, yeah, sort of. He won't remember me.
Hi, yeah, it's Sue, you know. That's really smart. So,
Yeah.
Phil, come on, you must have a few off-the-cuff questions by now. Have you got anything lined up? Or
Oh man, I'm just, I'm right now. I'm just in a state of awe. I was trying to come up with questions based on the conversation, and the conversation led to the answers of the questions that I wanted to ask. But man, one about the music, like I said earlier, that those type of questions get to allow people to know a person. Get to a person's taste in music speaks to how they are. You know what I'm saying? If you get that acid rock, you got anarchy. You get that slow soul, you get that friendly, happy thing. And yeah, I was surprised by Lionel Richie. I was.
Yeah, I love a bit of Lionel.
Yeah. I've never seen someone make such a great modelling clay before, to be honest. Especially if you can't see it. It was brilliant. I don't know if that was a true story or not, but it looked pretty convincing to me. Right. So, Sue, can you tell us all about your social medias, where they can find you and all of that good stuff?
Okay, so on Twitter, I am Sue_Stoneman.
Yep.
And the same on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Sue_Stoneman. On Facebook, I am Susan Stoneman, only because that is my real name, and my mum only called me that, especially when I was naughty. And when I set it up, however many years ago, I set it up as that. But I won't change it because everybody thinks I'm a Susan, but I'm a Sue really to everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my three main channels, and then my YouTube channel is Cooking with Sue.
Yeah.
Which I shall develop at some point when I get around to it.
And I will help you. Yes, indeed. I will subscribe and I'll push it as much as I can. I will.
Yes, I know your channel's doing really well, Ryan, and that, but when you get to 100, it's like, woo!
I know, right?
Well, I'm trying.
I'm a little fish in the big sea.
I'll tell you, I'm a tiny fish. Hold on. That's it. How do you do it? Is it that guy? No, it's that guy. He's the big fish in this pond.
Oh no! Look, I'm gonna be getting lucky.
Yeah, so I'm just a little fish in the big sea, but
Yeah.
Well, I think it's been a wonderful interview, Sue. Thank you so much for joining us and having a conversation.
Let me throw the everybody put your hands together for Sue Stoneman. This was amazing. This was fantastic, and I want to thank you guys for letting me show up, let me be here. Thanks to Matt and Ryan for letting me show up here. But you were saying, sir?
Oh, it's just one. Thank you, Sue, for coming on. It's been fantastic listening to all of the stuff you've been talking about. It's been brilliant. I've we speak on Facebook. I look at all the stuff and bits and bobs, and like you've given me a lot of help and advice over the years with cooks and things like that on Country Wood Smoke, and it is appreciated. I thank you for that.
Thank you for having me on, guys. And so if I can put a smile on someone's face out there, I'd say that's the whole point of me going live.
That's
in
right.
the first lockdown. If it puts a smile on someone's face, so I can inspire them to fire up and get cooking. That's my sort of little catchphrase. Then my job is done.
There you go.
And another thing, Phil, thank you very much. I know I've said it 100 times, so I'll say it 100 times more. Much appreciated, man.
Hey, anytime, man. That's what friends do, and I want to thank you for allowing me to assist.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Right. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, we're going to run a little ad. We open up a thing called a pub club. We can pop a link into the chat. If you want to stick around and talk to people who are in the chat, that's fine. If you don't fancy it, that's fine as well. So it's totally your choice. You can hang around and have a little chat if anyone wants to pop in, or if not, jump out and enjoy the rest of your evening. We're going to run the thing in a sec. And thank you for everyone for joining in on the BBQ Talk Show. Go check out our Bob, Phil's podcast, available on all of the platforms that are usually available. So Spotify, Apple,
everywhere.
The same goes for us, BBQ Talk Show, everywhere. Hobo's just jumped in already. So yeah, run the ad and we'll see you on the other side.